Hey guys, Taylor with GammaEdge here, coming at you with a quick market status for Thursday, April 13th. Here's our general disclaimer. Give this a read when you've done so. Let's move on. So here, starting with the tick US model, did see a failure of kind of the uptrend that we had going through Tuesday. Did lose the moving average ribbon, starting to develop railroad tracks lower. Longer term moving average ribbon is still fully inverted. Did start to see some significant selling via the filtered tick model early in the session, then again late in the session into the close, and new lows did outpace new highs. Here looking at the tick ARCX model, we are in an uptrend of a longer term moving average ribbon. However, as noted yesterday's market status, we are quite extended from the longer term moving average ribbon itself. So up here, that should have been considered when trying to open new long positions. Some kind of pullback to the longer term moving average ribbon would not be unreasonable. We did lose the short-term moving average ribbon intraday. This is typically a good sign to take some profits off if you did ride some of this cumulative tick trend higher. So again, we're watching today. Bulls, we want to reclaim the highs here. Bears, we want a continuation lower, kind of linear down day. Moving on to price action itself, we have SPY, SPX, and Qs. Looking at SPY first, very volatile day just with the news. One thing to note, we did get some interactions with COTMP and 0gex here kind of before noon, then here late in the session. This trade right here, I mean, that's hard to get into, more or less a V bottom off it. If you did get into it, good for you, but I did not. And then again here, later in the session, this is more of the action I'm looking for, better consolidation around the levels. Again, nothing was taken just because it was so late in the day, but going forward, this is the type of action that I do like to see. SPX, not a ton to talk about, and Qs, not a ton to talk about. We did get some respect for price action between 0gex and P-Trans, so something to keep a note on. We do see this quite often, those two levels kind of oscillating between each other. Moving on to Apple. Apple, you can see on the 65-minute chart, is just really range bound right now. Tesla, 65-minute chart, nothing really super interesting there right now. Moving on to Microsoft and NVIDIA. Microsoft itself, you can see 65-minute chart, this demand zone, so supply zone overhead, kind of bumped up against that 3 times and failed. Then looking at NVIDIA itself, really not a ton to say here. We're just at the bottom at a supply zone. So moving on to the 5 p.m. script, looking at SPY. I think the setup's very interesting here. You can look at the 65-minute chart. We have some key liquidity zones defined by myself. And then those nice confluence with our gamma levels themselves. So ideal setup, we get a push higher, some kind of break of P-Trans, retest, move higher all the way up to the supply zone up top. That would be interesting. To the downside, a break of 0gex, play down to COTMP, a couple options there. SPX again, this is very cut and dry here as well. We're having a nice consolidation right under P-Trans, break and retest higher up to the local highs. That'd be a great play. However, we do break this to the downside, then a play would be to COTMP and 0gex with my stop above P-Trans. So good levels there. And then again on Qs, same kind of thought process. 0gex, using that as my reference point, some kind of consolidation, push higher to P-Trans would be a nice play. And then obviously to the downside, using 0gex as the reference point, move down to COTMP. Looking at Apple again, 65-minute chart, really just in a consolidation zone, so not super interested in that. Maybe a play you could do is retest a P-Trans and then a push higher through the consolidation zone up to plus gex. Looking at Tesla again, really not a ton to say here. We are right at negative trans, so if you need to trade this symbol, that can be used as your reference point. And lastly, looking at Microsoft and NVIDIA. Microsoft, getting 65-minute chart, very big, in a big trading range right now. So not a ton to say here. You do have some gamma levels within the chop range if you got to trade the name. Consult those. And then lastly, NVIDIA, you can see in 65-minute chart, key liquidity levels are defined. So yeah, kind of right around COTMP to the downside, 0gex would be to the upside. Again, I think there's more interesting names out there to trade. but wanted to give this to y'all. So with that, best of luck today. See y'all in the room in a little bit, and bye.